Today, I'm going to be bringing you guys on a journey with me as I partake in a design competition. And as per the brief, I am going to be creating a logo and some product packaging for a premium tea brand called Teal. And as I've decided to join 2 days until the deadline, I'd better get on with it. So let's crack on. So as it's a competition, we've been given a brief, a mood board, and some mock-ups as well. So let's take a gander at the brief itself. So essentially, Teal is a premium tea brand with a bit of a twist. So instead of using sort of traditional tea bags or loose tea, they've created their product with the environment in mind. And essentially they've come up with these sort of tea pills or tablets which contain ground tea and herbs. So you can pause this here to read and keep going back and forth if you want. But I'm going to press on with the design process now. So let's move on to that. So it's now the following day and yeah, the clock is ticking. I've got until tomorrow to send this off, to finalize it and send it off. I have brought up the mood board here as you can see. So I just want to quickly go through the mood board with you guys just to see what I'm thinking. And yeah, I'm kind of focusing on the top two images as sort of the main sources of inspiration from this particular mood board. Just because they are a bit simpler, a bit more clean than the other ones. The other ones are really sort of detailed and really showy and kind of intricate, and I want to keep mine quite simple, especially the logo. But in terms of the packaging, I think I might bring in a little bit more of that detail in with the packaging and the backdrop. As you can see from these top two images here, they've got these sort of landscapes, these illustrative landscapes in the background, which I think I'm going to use or try to implement. And whilst I was looking at the brief and looking at sort of the keywords within the brief, the stuff like fresh, eco-conscious, organic, nature, revitalize, put down Japanese as well, and they're the kind of keywords that I want to focus on, especially with the packaging. But I really want to focus on the Japanese aspect of the product and the design. So yeah, I think I will sort of base my design off that and I'll go from there. So the first thing that I have done, which you've not seen because I didn't record it, but I've basically gone on to Procreate and I've handwritten this Japanese writing here, which says Teal in Japanese, or at least that's what Google says it says. So we're going with it. Yeah, I just used a monoline brush for it and brought it into Illustrator and vectorized it. So I want to try and incorporate this in some way in the logo itself, whether that's by arranging it so it's stacked or leaving it as it is or just tweaking it in some way. But I kind of want to do sort of a logo where you've got a bit of Japanese writing that says Teal, and then you've got the actual English word Teal as well. So we'll figure that out in a bit. And then I've also got these free fonts here. Now I'm trying to restrict myself with this just because I could be here all day, all night trying to choose a typeface for the logo and the packaging. So that's why I've only chose free, just because it'd be quite quick and easy just to go through them. So we'll start from the bottom. So this one, I do quite like it. I do like the A, it's quite funky, but maybe a bit too much. And I don't like the T either. I don't feel like it fits. So I'm just going to go off my gut instinct. I'm going to get rid of that one. And then this next one, I do really like it because it's quite wide. I do like how wide it is, but I'm not sure if that's going to fit what I have in mind for the logo. But it is quite similar, or has similar characteristics to the sort of Japanese design stuff that I've seen on Pinterest and on the internet. So I'll leave that for now. And then you've got this top one, which has a bit of a Bauhaus feel to it. It's quite attractive, it's quite appealing. And I feel like I could round the corners off and bring the letters in, and that'd do a pretty good job. So this is a tough one. I think I'm just gonna have to go off the initial sort of feeling and reaction that I've got. So I'm going to get rid of this bottom one just because I think it's too wide, because I kind of want to fit the type into a capsule, like a tablet, like what the actual product is, and I feel like this would be too wide for that and not sort of not high enough, if that makes sense. So I'm going to get rid of this one and we're going to continue with Chillax. Pretty cool name. So I've rounded the corners off and I've brought the letters in, and I think this will pair really well with the Japanese version of the word. Now I need to find a way to fit these two elements together without it feeling weird or sort of out of place, and I think I've just got the idea to do this. I think that manipulating the layout of these Japanese letters to position them in a stack position will work. I'm doing this because I want this to be almost like a stamp, so I'm going to put this in a round shape and it's going to sit alongside the English word as well. Now to bring these both together, I want to encapsulate both of these in a sort of pill shape, which I think will add a cool subtle nod to the product itself. And in terms of the colour palette, I feel it makes sense to stick to blues and greens, hence the name teal. So I've gone for these three colours here that I want to try out. And to make it feel more balanced, I've brought down the height of the L to match that of the T, which I think looks more sort of uniform and fitting. So I've got two variations of the main logo now, and I'm really starting to think about the packaging and how this is going to translate across there. So I think that the two that I've already done may wrap around the mock-up too much unless I make them quite small, which I'm not keen on. So I've got this idea of flipping the logo vertically with the English word on its side, but with the Japanese sort of stamp at the bottom being the right way around. And I think this will sit better on the packaging, and I also like the emphasis on the Japanese mark, which kind of gives it more of a high quality feel. So with the logo now done, I can move on to the packaging. I've brought in all the copy that I need to present on the box, and now I just need to puzzle all of this together. So the logo needs to be front and center, so I think using the vertical version will give a nice balance to the packaging, and I just need to figure out how I'm going to fit everything else around it. I've got most of the copy on the packaging now, but I feel like there's something missing. There's too much white space, so I've decided that I want to add a background element to add a bit more interest. And I have this idea of drawing a sort of pasture, which I think will bring in that organic and nature vibe to the brand and the packaging. And I'm going to do this on the iPad in Procreate, so the next clip you'll see is of me drawing that, and then I'll see you back up here in just a second. So I've just turned my drawing into a vector, and I really like how this is sitting in the background. I've dropped the opacity really low just so that it doesn't disturb any of the elements, or the main elements that is. And it actually turned out to look a bit more like a close-up leaf, which I'm not mad about. I really felt like something was missing again, so to break up the colours, I've added this cool orange colour, which I think adds to the Japanese feel, and it breaks up the design in a calming way as well. And finally, I've also added this orange circle on the top of the packaging to sort of signify the sun, which goes nicely along with that pasture drawing that I did, and it adds a nice big pop of colour as well. So after checking the mock-up again, and I'm glad I did, I almost forgot that I needed to do a design for the bottom of the tub. So I'm going to use this space to sort of show the ingredients, and because there's only sort of one ingredient in the brief, or in the copy that is, it shouldn't take me too long, so I'm going to do that, and then once I've done that, I think that will be it. I'm honestly really happy with how this looks and sits on this mock-up. The paper texture of the mock-up itself really brings this thing to life. I was a bit concerned about the pill shape and if it would be too narrow, but I think it's fine, and I really love the orange as an accent colour. So I've just submitted my design, and here is what I've sent. I saved this out as a PDF document just showcasing everything basically. Now the brief only called for a logo and a packaging design, but I've added some more brand assets to give sort of a fuller picture on the brand as a whole. Now I would have loved to have spent a bit more time refining this, but all in all, with the time that I had, I'm pretty proud of this. I think one thing I would maybe change or tweak is the Japanese stamp, and make it feel more like it was actually stamped on the box, just by using some texture and making the lines less smooth to give it a inky look. But again, I'm happy with my attempt, and I'm really glad that I took part, just because I almost wasn't going to. So what do you guys think? Do you think I've done a decent job, or is there anything that you guys would change? Please let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested to know what you think. And if you've enjoyed the video, then please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I will see you in a bit.